Hello everybody and welcome to Sonic Free Complete. We're doing a two-part Let's Look at this awesome ROM hack. Now you're probably wondering, what is Sonic the Hedgehog Free Complete? It's a ROM hack of Sonic Free and Knuckles in which the primary attempt is to try to create the original vision that the developers had for Sonic Free, as in the full game in one go, and with the original music by Michael Jackson that had to be removed because of the controversies at the time, and basically try to recreate exactly what the developers intended before they had all that behind-the-scenes trouble that forced them to make some changes and stuff.
You mean to the PC edition, because otherwise, any digital version of Sonic Free Knuckles, well, the latest ones have had the original music. The problem is that we haven't had a new
No. What I mean, no. What I mean, Jove, is that remember if you play Sonic Free and Knuckles instead of Sonic Free, it uses Howard Drawson's themes. For example, it takes away the boss theme from Sonic Free. You know the one, right? You know that's because when Sonic Free and Knuckles was made, Michael Jackson's controversies got Sega to basically remove that music to distance themselves.
Was it really the controversy, or was it because he wasn't impressed with the Genesis?
Well, it's kind of complicated. Just Google any YouTube videos about that, and he'll be able to explain the things a lot better than me. The point
we can think of like that.
So what is this for starters? I mean, it's a special stage from Sonic Free.
Yeah. Okay, basically, Terry, one of the cool things about Sonic Free Complete is it also creates a super awesome menu that allows you to pick between Sonic Free alone, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Free Complete, aka Sonic Free and Knuckles thing, or Blue Sphere, so you can play all the 4 games in one ROM. Also, one thing that they added, you can play as Tails in Blue Sphere. In the original Blue Sphere, you can only play with Sonic or Knuckles, so that's a cool addition that I wanted to show off. Alright, so aside from recreating the original experience that the developers intended before all that behind-the-scenes trouble of being forced to cut the game in half and stuff went down, they also took care to add a lot of cool customization to the game. For example, you can make a lot of For example, you can pick between the level layouts from the original Sonic Free, or the Sonic Free and Knuckles level layouts, because there were some changes in the Free and Knuckles version. You can even pick original design. You know what? What is original design zone order, you may ask? Here's a fun fact. Flying Battery was originally supposed to be after Carnival Night and before Ice Cap Zone. You're probably wondering, wait, what? Unfortunately, that kind of got changed because by the time they were finishing, by the time Sonic Free had to be released, Flying Battery was still incomplete, so they had to remove it from Sonic Free and just keep it for Sonic and Knuckles. So,
in order of which I prefer.
I'm going to show off the original design of how it was intended, because I'm a big proponent of trying to play the game the way the developers originally intended, without any executive meddling. Which is, and quite honestly, as I'm going to explain why I prefer. Oh, by the way, you can use the easy and normal modes from Sonic Jam. That's another cool thing. And here's another cool thing: Super Controls. You're probably wondering what that option is. You know how in Sonic Free and Knuckles you have to jump press the jump button twice to turn to Super, meaning you cannot use the Insta Shield unless you have less than 50 rings. What they did is they changed the Super transformation where you have to press two different buttons. As in, if you press A twice, it will just do the Insta Shield. If you press A and B, then it will turn into Super. That way, you will never have to turn into Super accidentally, and you can just keep using the Insta Shield if you want, even if you have over 50 rings. Also, you can cancel Super state. You can do the same combination of buttons again to transform back into normal Sonic, so you can spare your rings in case you want to. That's an incredibly useful improvement that I really appreciate from this hack. Also, you can change the Tails assist controls to the ones from the Taxman ports, aka you can now use Tails flying mode without having to use the second controller.
Yep.
Deji,
oh, okay. Well, for those who aren't familiar, the way it works in the Taxman ports is if you jump and press up while you're jumping, and you have Tails behind Sonic, Tails will start flying, and then you can jump on Tails, and then you'll be able to fly around. That way you can use Tails without the need for a second controller.
Kind of like the Taxman ports of Sonic.
Yeah, that's what they did. They literally took that programming from that and put it here. And they also did some music options. For example, you can switch the music from Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base to the original PC versions that are, I think they're really crap, but whatever.
No, I was gonna say.
You?
I was gonna say, why would you even have that as an option? But whatever. It's
Because they can.
I guess for the
Because they can.
This hack,
Choice,
this hack caters to everyone, really.
Oh yeah, fun fact. For those who don't know, there is a prototype of Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 that was made back in the day, where the game before the game was split in two, that had a full zone medley. You know how the zone medley for Sonic 3 and Knuckles during the credits doesn't have all the level themes? You know, like for example, what they did is there was a prototype of Sonic 3 that actually had a full medley with Angel Island, Hydro City, all that stuff that was missing from the Sonic 3 and Knuckles medley. And they took that prototype medley and they put it in here so you can, once again, experience the credits the way the developers originally intended. And also, here's a cool thing. You know, you can change your super theme from the invincibility theme to just the fast, as if you got the speed shoes, which can be very useful because the invincibility theme can sometimes get annoying when you're listening for so long as Supersonic. Or you can pick the special theme. What is the special theme, you may ask? Here's a cool thing. Originally, in the PC port of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they originally intended to have a new theme specifically for the Super form. But however, that was unused. It was still present in the game files, but it wasn't actually used in the game. What they did is they took that theme and they put it in this game, for those who want an actual proper Supersonic theme for this game. Because Sonic 2 had a proper Supersonic theme, but this one never had. Go ahead,
Okay,
Deji.
so I have one important question. I probably should be asking in this while recording, but did you guys already do a playthrough of Mystery K?
yes, we did.
Yes, we did. This is just a let's look.
A long time ago.
A long ass time
Well,
ago.
a redo is planned because that was back before we were the group that we are today. So it kind of calls for a redo.
Well,
You should do
mainly
this
also
version.
because our old channel is lost.
There's that too, yeah. Anyway, here's the cool thing, by the way. You can change the themes and event music cards. For example, you can pick which Knuckles theme do you want. Do you prefer the Sonic 3 one? Do you prefer the Knuckles one? Well, you can choose here. Do you want to pick the original Sonic 3 main themes, or do you want to play with the Sonic and Knuckles main themes? Oh, or even better, you can go back and play with the original Masato Nakamura main Sonic theme, aka the themes from Sonic 1 and 2, if you want. Because I'm a big fan of Masato Nakamura's work, so I was kind of bummed out when his masterful main theme was replaced with a new one. So if you're like me and you kind of still prefer that main theme over the one we got in Sonic 3 and K, you can play with that as well.
You know, funnily enough, concerning the music controversies, despite the controversy of Michael Jackson, a lot of the music from Sonic 3, some of which is still clearly Michael Jackson, hello Launch Base Zone, still sticks. Like, literally the only things that they changed were Knuckles' theme, which I guess you could argue they wanted to make consistent between the two games, and the Act 1 boss theme. That's all that really comes to mind. Oh!
I thought in one re-release they did change Launch Base Zone.
Okay, so
That's the PC port you're thinking of. Well, yeah, the PC port. Not the Steam version, but the PC port back in the day.
Basically, Deji, much like the Tex-Men remix, this is the definitive way of playing Sonic 3, at least until we get an actual Tex-Men remaster of it, obviously.
I'd rather have make new games like Mania.
No, I agree with you there. It's just that I'm just saying, I don't know. After Mania, I kind of would like the Taxman remasters to be ported to consoles because it's kind of because come on, why is it? Give us console gamers some love, Sega.
Oh, okay. Real talk. Shiroi has been known.
By the way, I'll show you that there. That's the original flying battery icon that was actually replaced later. Why did it?
Why is Sonic Buffer in the icon on the bottom?
Oh, that's just the continue icon. It's kind of derpy, I know, but
Sprite drugs or something.
okay. Basically, you're probably wondering why did I replace the zone icon for playing battery with the beta version that got unused. That's because it fits much better with the original design of zone order, as I'm going to show later on when we get to showing off the Carnival Night transition to flying battery. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start a new save. Okay, here's one cool thing, by the way. You know what we can do? We can skip the opening cutscene, just in case you don't want to see it for the millionth time. So that's a really cool thing, because every time you start this game on Sonic 3 and K, you're forced to watch that over and over. So we can just skip it and get straight into the game. Definitely a cool improvement that I like.
I forgot. Go ahead, Edge.
Go ahead,
I
Deji.
was telling the Shiro's been following me on Twitter over the last few days.
Oh, no, Deji, sorry, I have to interrupt you
No,
there.
wait.
Remember how the Sonic 3 and Knuckles level select had the Sonic 2 background and the Sonic 2 font? Because, you know, unfinished stuff they weren't able to finish in time. They finished it. It has the Sonic 3 menu background and the Sonic 3 font on the text. So there you go. And also, instead of the numbers for the character selection, instead they replace it with pictures, so we always know which specific character it is, rather than just memorizing. Oh, Tails is the number 1 character or something like that. Number 2 actually, I think. So it's much easier to tell which character you've selected there. That's a huge improvement, if you ask me. Like it's a small thing, but it's so convenient in the grand scheme of things.
These guys thought of everything.
They did, trust me. Like,
Yeah, you did. You'll see.
You trust me, Deji. Go to Sonic Retro and check this game's page. It's amazing what they did with this hack. So yeah, here's
Anyway, you were saying, Deji?
Yeah. Go ahead, Deji. Go ahead.
About the Taxman ports. Yeah, I've been playing Sonic 1, 2, and CD on my phone, and oh my god, I need this on a console because those special stages, man. No.
Oh god.
Yeah, CD, the half pipe, so.
Oh, that reminds me. Also, one thing we really need is a console port for Sonic 2 because, look, for the most part, the Sonic 2 Taxman Edition is the definitive version, except for Mystic Cave Zone's boss, which is now in 60 frames per second, and now it's a lot harder to dodge those stalagmites, and you don't get.
By the way, here's a.
Wasn't
Sorry.
that good.
Sorry, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
It annoys me. Go on.
Okay, here's a fun fact, by the way. You know how Sonic 3 alone has that incredibly hard as balls to do level select code? Oh, that. Basically, debug mode allows us to create this super monitor that allows us to turn Hyper into an instant. Or super in the case of Tails. Okay, basically, Shiroi and Teo, and sorry, Tails are probably not familiar with it, but you know how Sonic 3 alone has that hard as balls to do? Oh, here's a cool thing. You know how in the original sprite in Sonic 3 NK, changed to normal Sonic when you're on those Fankings? They made new sprites so that Sonic always looks super, rather than yellow normal Sonic. Like, that's another cool thing. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Jova, Deji? The hard. Have you never done the level select code in Sonic 3 alone?
I never beat it.
Oh.
Sonic 3 alone?
As in Sonic 3 without Sonic and Knuckles.
I would never play it alone.
I played it on the Mega Collection,
I never have.
but
I
I'm
didn't
not quite
really
sure
use
I
Okay.
knew about that even.
Okay, basically, the original Sonic 3, and by that I mean the original Sonic 3 before Sonic and Knuckles was released, the level select code was, you have to do... Oh, actually, here we go. Here's how originally things were supposed to go. Flying Battery was supposed to appear here, and then Sonic uses the cannon to fire into... Sorry, I screwed up there. To shoot into the Flying Battery, and look at that. They changed the Flying Battery's background to nighttime to coincide with the fact that it was nighttime just before. And that's why I changed...
It's stuff that doesn't need to be changed, but it's appreciated.
Why did they change it?
You can go if you don't if you
Battery done by the time they were doing Sonic 3, so they saved it for Sonic and Knuckles' section, which honestly I'm glad with. Because
Oh, here we go. Here's another cool thing that I love. Now we're transitioning to ASCAP, and look at that. No more Snowbird that comes out of nowhere. He uses a piece, that particular door of Flying Battery that fell, which makes a lot more transitional sense. So there you go. That's it. Awesome detail. I actually really prefer it this way because it makes the story feel much more and the world building much more cohesive.
Nah, just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, so in Sonic 3 alone, in order to do the level select code, you have to press up, up, down, down, up, 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 and do this all very fast while right after the screen goes black after the Sega logo and before Sonic shows up on screen. And it's incredibly hard to do.
You have like half a second to do it.
So what's your reward for doing it?
You get a level select code. But however, what they did is they changed it so that it works like the level select code in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, aka going to the Angel Island and pressing left, 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 right, 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 up, 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 while you're hanging from a vine in Angel Island. So yeah, no more annoying level select code. Okay.
Oh, look, it's that level that everyone hates so much.
Oh, now I'm gonna show you something. Okay. Who here... Okay, Deji, have you ever tried defeating the boss of Act 1 of Sandopolis with Super Tails?
No.
See, the thing with Super Tails is his fleeky army of death, as Johnny calls them, they attack anything that moves, including bosses. But there's a problem with that.
They're cheese on crack.
But there's a problem with that, though. If you try to find it, if you remember, the boss of this act requires you to hit him so you can fall into the sand, and if you don't, he'll just keep rising again, right? So there's a problem there. The Flickies are constantly attacking that boss, and as a result, and as you can probably guess, fighting that boss with Super Tails is kind of a pain, because you can tell they didn't really make up for the Flicky Army of Death when designing that boss, sadly. However, these guys fixed it. Now, every time you go into that boss, and this also applies to the Death Egg boss, you know, that mini Death Egg at the end of Death Egg Act 2.
Giant arms? Or...
Okay, so...
You're thinking big arms.
You're thinking big arms, Deji. So yeah, what it does is, when we get to the boss, the AI of the Flickies disables automatically. So the Flickies will no longer attack this boss, so now you can fight the boss normally without having to deal with the Flickies constantly hitting it and not allowing you to do your thing.
This is great mini boss music.
Yeah.
Is there an option that makes it so that, like, well, you know, you get the mini boss music for the Sonic 3 section, and then the mini boss music for the Sonic and K?
Yes, you can. You can. If you go to the options, you can choose pick by game, as in when you're in the Sonic 3 part, the Sonic 3 themes will play. When you get to the Sonic and Knuckles half, the Sonic and Knuckles themes will play. So you can do that as well. They thought of everything. Anyway.
So what are these guys doing now?
You mean Tiddles? The guy who made this hack? He's still perfecting it. To this day, he's still releasing new versions of this hack.
How many years ago did this come out?
2013. It was stated in the logos.
I bet there'll be loads of Mania edits somehow.
If Taxman ever gets hired to do a Sonic 3... Oh, here's a cool thing. If you try to use the debug mode and level select code to get Knuckles or Tails in the Doomsday Zone, you'll be able to play through it, but the sprite will glitch out because, you know, Sonic Team didn't really think of what sprite to use in this part. So what they did is they corrected it so they would use... For Tails in particular, we'll use this sprite, and then I'll show what Knuckles uses after this. So that's another Sonic 3 and K overlook that Tiddles fixed. So now you can play Tails in Doomsday Zone without a glitched sprite. That's definite. I think everybody can agree that that's definitely an improvement.
Wait, you can actually play as Tails in Doomsday Zone?
Well, you always could, even back in Sonic 3 and K, if you use the level select and debug mode. But if you did, the sprite will glitch. You will be able to play through it, but the sprite will glitch because they didn't actually make up. Yes, they did. Try playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles again, Jova, and go to Doomsday Zone with as either Tails or Knuckles, and just see what I mean. It creates a glitched out sprite because there's no sprite to actually load because Sonic Team didn't actually put it there. So Tiddles changed the programming so that it uses specifically this sprite for Knuckles and the one we just saw for Tails. I
guess it makes sense since Knuckles never really goes to Doomsday Zone in the original.
Oh, of course. But it's always cool that Tiddles actually thought of this, so that we can always do this cool thing of playing for Doomsday with Knuckles. It's always a cool thing, I thought.
Plus, it's a good song.
Uh-huh.
Alright. But yeah, like I said, I never play Sonic 3 alone, the actual ROM again. I always play it from Sonic 3 Complete so that I can do the level select code without any hassle. Because fuck that level select code. Even like, if you guys haven't seen it, watch Some Call Me Johnny's review of Sonic 3. He also takes a jab at that level select code. Alright, and now here's the cool thing, Deji. Remember the original cutscene from the beginning of Sonic and Knuckles campaign?
It takes place in Angel Island.
As it should, as it should be.
As it should have done in the first place.
There you go. And here's the cool thing. There's no fade to black. It immediately starts straight into the gameplay.
Yes, that's right. I even actually used this as a cutscene during our original run of the game.
And now there's no need, because Tiddles fixed it. Now it's in where it should be. For the Sonic 3 and K version, obviously.
They should get this guy if they ever make a Mania too.
Not just that, Deji. If Taxman and Stealth ever get hired to do a Sonic 3 remaster, I really hope they bring in Tiddles, like Taxman brought in Stealth for Sonic 1 and 2. Because if Tiddles can bring in the work he did for this hack into Sonic 3 Remastered, it would be amazing. Alright, now let's show off Knuckles' transition from Carnival Night into Flying Battery. The teleporter can now be theorized that it's actually an Eggman teleporter instead of just a random teleporter that is just there with no apparent explanation. So there you go.
Didn't we assume it was an Eggman teleporter even before?
Well, why would Eggman have a teleporter that transports you from Carnival Night to Ice Cap specifically? It makes sense for him to have a teleporter that transports him to one of his fortresses, but for here, but for Ice Cap, I don't see why.
He was renovating the whole island, so he probably wanted his minions to get around easier.
I can see your point, but I still think this makes more sense in terms of story context. And now let's show off. And here's a cool thing. Now, Knuckles' version of this boss has the Egg Robo sprite, which for some reason, no, it's apparently they did it because there was no front sprite for the Egg Robo. But if you guys remember, when we get here as Knuckles, the Eggman is suddenly here for some reason, even though story-wise it's not supposed to be right here. So there you go, Tiddles fixed it. Now it's the Egg Robo, as it should be.
Yeah, I remember. My headcanon for that was that Eggman was still hanging around as some grumpy old guy after his whole death egg sunk and everything. It's
another consequence of the rush development. They didn't have time to. They had to, give up some stuff, and the whatever front sprite for Egg Robo that was to be made had to be left alone because they had deadlines to meet. And there you go. Now Knuckles just falls into Ice Cap from here, since he doesn't.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh no!
He should have edited that in.
Probably, but. Yes, Dale?
The question I was trying to say before was, at least Sonic 3 developed around the same time, the original, around the same time of Ristar, by chance?
No, Ristar came out in 1995. Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles came out in 1994.
Huh, because Angel Island Act 1 music sounds, I know it's the same team, but Angel Island Act 1 sounds almost identical as the first zone of Ristar.
If Ristar didn't come out that late, I'm sure that franchise would have been bigger than it is.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay, if you use debug mode and level select to get Knuckles into Death Egg, you will not be able to defeat him because Knuckles doesn't have a high enough jump so he can properly jump on the eye. However, what Tiddles did is they fixed it by allowing you to go to expanding the area that you're allowed to traverse through, so you can use Knuckles' gliding and climbing abilities, so you can sneakily glide towards the eye. So it's now possible to defeat this boss as Knuckles. Obviously, this is not story canon. It's not story canon, of course, but it's always nice that they bothered to do this.
It's good to have it there.
It is. I really love that they bothered to put this, because a lot of fans, old school fans like me, loved using the debug mode a ton to do things that the game wasn't meant to do. So this is cool.
As I'm certain Jova enjoyed while debugging Beyond Two Souls.
Well, yeah, that was me debugging it, but sure.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Jova.
Jova doing a Beyond Two Souls Let's Play without me forcing him. That's a good joke, too.
Well, I didn't know the circumstances.
Peter's a good friend.
Give me Sonic Heroes.
Hey, you're gonna play Detroit eventually, lady, so don't think you're off the hook. And Taylor has to play Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
It's the best one. Aside from Okami, was it? No,
Omicron. Omicron.
Okami is a David Cage game. I don't even start. Well, then again, there is a character who speaks in French in that game, so yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, like I said, I really hope Taxman and Stealth are able, if they want, of course, to bring in Tiddles for an eventual Sonic 3 remaster, because if he can bring in all of this to the official remaster, it would be amazing. I totally want this level of customization on, because it's so cool. I think it allows you to customize the game in any way you prefer it. It literally pleases everybody by allowing people to just pick whatever they want in very specific ways.
I'm really surprised they got hasn't done cease and desist for this.
Actually, Sega is unlike Nintendo. Sega actually is very supportive of fan-made projects too. To give you an idea, Sonic Free and Knuckles on Steam has a workshop thing, so you can put in a lot of hacks. And Sonic Free Complete is part of the Steam workshop for Sonic Free and Knuckles, so you can play this officially for Steam if you want.
Yay!
I can believe you forgot about the Steam Workshop.
Yeah,
Really,
that's literally your way of playing Sonic Free Complete officially.
even if it's not present for every single game,
Hold on,
there
hold on,
is
Joe.
the
There you go.
option.
I can cancel Supersonic. Can you?
So we can hear the music.
Not just that, Shirei. Remember those bosses like that. You know that part from Flying Battery Act 2 where Eggman is doing that giant laser thing where we're just stuck there and we have to wait until Eggman destroys himself somehow?
You're grounded.
Always, a lot of times we waste a lot of rings if we get there as Supersonic. Not any longer because we can just cancel the super form and save our rings for later. Trust me, it helps a lot in terms of saving your own rings. Like it's such a awesome addition. All right, now let's go back. And here's a cool thing: when you're in the main menu of any game, you can press B to return to the Sonic Free Complete main menu, as I'm about to demonstrate. Oh, here we go. Here's the Sonic. There you go. If you press B, you can go back to the main menu. So there you go. You don't even have to start reset to get back to the original menu. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to show off the PC music. What they did with basically they got an awesome musician.
And I'm out.
They got an awesome musician from Sonic Retro to take the original PC music for Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base, and convert them into Genesis music files so they can use them in this ROM hack. So, for those who are not familiar with Sonic Free and Knuckles' PC music, which was again redone for the sake of they weren't allowed to use the Michael Jackson music
I
anymore.
them on purpose.
I forget. Was it just specific zones, or was it all the zones?
No, it was just the specific zones. So here's Carnival Night PC. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Carnival Night, so I'm not losing.
Okay.
It's a
This is definitely no replacement for a Michael Jackson track.
The original song was just frightening because it gave you PTSD images about the barrel. This is just the sound that you make when you puke out of Sega Genesis Mega Drive console.
yeah. It's the sound you make when you puke after going on an amusement park.
But yeah, but
I actually really do.
Well-
The original Carnival Night is one of my favorite tracks in the game.
so yeah, if you're one of those who grew up with the PC version, there you go. Here's your way to play them in your Mega Drive ROM.
Congratulations, dipshit.
Congratulations, you're now dead.
Whenever people talk about the dumb twang generic Mega Drive kind of thing, this is what I'm thinking of. There you go. This is Ice Cap PC.
No.
Oh, here's another cool thing that I like. You know how... Okay, Deji, have you ever done the level select or debug code in Sonic Free Knuckles? Basically, what happens is when you do the level select code, what activates an awesome cool thing, and whenever you're playing the game, you can press start and press A to go back to the title screen. What they did is they changed it in this hack to get you to return to the level select screen, which makes it a lot easier to just try different levels at random, if you want. So what do you think of Ice Cap PC, Shirei?
It's awful.
Okay. This beat right now, it's actually not that bad. However, it's not a good replacement. It just doesn't fit with this level.
Not to mention, you're replacing a Michael Jackson track. There's huge expectations to deliver on.
Well, remember, Pedro, I liked those tracks even before. It took me a long time before knowing those were actually the one where Michael Jackson worked on.
Sure.
So,
Guys, Ice Cap wasn't a Michael Jackson track.
wasn't.
It was a song called
Brad
Hard
Bucks.
Times by the Jetsons.
Well, it was Brad Buxer. Remember, Brad Buxer was a composer for Michael Jackson at the time. So, technically... okay, let me rephrase that. From Michael Jackson's composing team. There you go. So Launchbase... Okay, I actually kind of...
Launchbase was definitely
This one
Michael
wasn't
Jackson.
too bad, honestly.
Yeah, Launchbase, yeah, it has the go thing. Anyway, yeah. This is also... Okay, I actually kind of like Launchbase PC. The problem is that it doesn't fit in this theme. This would fit fine in this would fit fine in Marco's Magic Football or something like that, but not in this
It
level.
actually reminds me, Pedro, of the intro music for Crash Bandicoot 2.
Here you go.
All things.
If you guys want to listen to that, there you go.
Sure.
I've already listened, Deji. I've seen plenty of
I was talking.
sure.
See ya.
I've seen plenty of Michael Jackson Sonic Free documentaries that explain the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example,
Well, the more recent ones are better.
for example, you guys,
because,
for
you know,
example, for example, you guys familiar with the Sonic Free credits theme? And by that I mean the Sonic Free alone.
Moscow.
It's straight from Moscow from Michael Jackson. Yeah, like and remember, and for those who still try to argue against, remember, if you play the Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection or Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection for Americans, it says right there in the curiosities about Sonic Free. It tells you that they tell us that Michael Jackson worked on the music. So Sega themselves have acknowledged it.
I thought they said he was considered.
No. They said he admits.
Okay,
Well, you have to remember. Well, you have to remember, Deji. Again, Michael Jackson's kind of a controversial figure, so obviously Sega's always going to tiptoe around the issue.
True, but I heard that Yuji Naka went on record saying that.
Okay, remember? Sorry, that if you don't mind.
I'd heard that.
Remember how in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, when you finish the game, there's no proper ending theme before the credits medley. There's just a Sky Sanctuary theme. What they did is they replaced it with the Sonic Free credits theme. So that way we can, since the Sonic Free credits theme was never used in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they figured we could use this as an ending theme. So there you go. So that way at least this track gets to survive in the Sonic 3 NK full experience now. So and I love this track. So I'm really glad they found a way to preserve it in the actual game. I actually prefer it over Sky Sanctuary because the Sky Sanctuary... don't get me wrong, I understand why people prefer the Sky Sanctuary version for the theme, especially because we've been hearing it for years. But personally, I always prefer when we have an actual theme that's actually made specifically for that purpose rather than reusing a theme from a zone. And now we get to hear the full credits medley from the Sonic Free Prototype ROM that has all the zones inside the medley.
So, do they affect the speed of the credits or something? So
No. This is an actual official track, Jova. This particular track that we're hearing right now is taken from a Sonic Free Prototype ROM. Because the Sonic team did indeed make a full-blown medley. It's just that they never used it because of,
Find this stuff?
Oh, I get that. I just wonder how it's going.
Internet,
At
Deji.
this point you can find everything.
If you go to Sonic Retro, Deji, you can find plenty of Sonic Prototype ROMs from the beta version of Sonic 2 that has all the deleted zones, for example.
It's like a Frankenstein monster at this point. You can just do whatever you want with it.
I mean, for as much as retro annoys me sometimes, I mean, they do good work.
Mm-hmm. Like it makes the whole thing feel much more complete. Huh?
What a story, Pedro.
Get out.
But yeah.
If you check closely, you can see in the distance the Echo Dolphin getting abducted by fucking aliens.
What's that?
Good.
What's that? Some of you purists in the audience might say you prefer the original medley. That's okay. You can go into the options and select it to choose the original Sonic 3 NK medley. So you don't have to hear this at all if you don't want to. So that was Brad Buxer was there, he's the first one credited. Brad Buxer is was one of the primary composers for Michael Jackson back in the 90s. Anyway, Shiroi, what do you think of this medley that actually is more complete since it has more Sonic Free zones?
I've seen this hack before, so I've already hit this.
Okay. I'm really glad that we finally found a use for this medley, because this medley has been sitting in that prototype ROM with no use, but now it gets full-blown use for this one. I always prefer to listen to the credits with this theme. What about you, Jova? What do you think of?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of it sounds like the Sonic and Knuckles one, just with the Sonic Free ones included. That's nice.
Yeah, and it's an actual official track that was meant to be in the game to begin with, so it feels right at home.
Well, I guess this would have been the ending theme if they managed
It
to
was.
complete the game as a whole.
Yeah, if they
I
managed.
mean, on the one hand, I do like the Sonic and Knuckles ending riff a bit more with the. I mean, I go with the reprise.
It's okay, Jova. It's okay, Jova. You can just go to the menu and select main themes, Sonic and Knuckles.
No. What I mean is, like, I kind of wish that, that this full credit scene could have included that cool ending riff reprise of a Sonic and Knuckles one.
Yeah, that's because this particular medley track was made before they replaced the original composer team with Howard Drawson, and he changed all the main themes. That's why. Anyway, so yeah. I hope you've enjoying Sonic Free Complete, everybody. Tune in for part 2 where we check out some awesome other cool stuff that I want to show, because there's so much cool stuff to show in this ROM hack that it's just not enough in one video. So we have to have 2. So see you then.
All right, then. See ya.
Alright.
Yeah.